Marty Jannetty was born Frederick Martin Jannetty on February 3, 1960 in Columbus, Georgia. Jannetty was an amateur wrestler in high school and qualified for the state championship tournament his last 3 years of high school. After high school, he wrestled at Chattahoochee Valley Community College in Alabama, where he was a two-time NJCAA qualifier. He then went to Auburn University to wrestle, but the school dropped its wrestling program. Thus, began his career as a professional wrestler. Jannetty began wrestling in September of 1983 for Mid-South Wrestling, teaming with Jerry Oates. He would begin teaming with Shawn Michaels in Central States Wrestling in late 1985 as the Midnight Rockers, winning the NWA Central States Tag Team Championship from the Batten Twins. During his time with CSW, he wrestled Ric Flair for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. The Midnight Rockers wrestled in the AWA between 1986 and 1988, winning the Tag Team Championships twice by defeating Buddy Rose and Doug Summers, and later the Midnight Express. The Rockers debuted in the WWF in 1988. The Rockers won the WWF Tag Team Championships by defeating the Hart Foundation in a 2-out-of-3 falls match at Main Event 4 on October 30, 1990 in Fort Wayne, Indiana. However, the WWF decided not to air them winning the titles. Thus, the belts officially remained with the Hart Foundation. In December of 1990, Jannetty executed his rocker dropper finishing move on Chuck Austin, resulting in him becoming paralyzed. Austin sued Jannetty, Michaels, and Titan Sports, resulting in a $26.7 million judgment. Titan Sports appealed, reducing the judgment to $10 million, with Jannetty ordered to pay $500,000. After tensions had been building between them, the Rockers finally broke up when Shawn Michaels hit Sweet Chin Music on Jannetty on Brutus the Barber Beefcake's barbershop on January 12, 1992, causing Jannetty to go crashing through the barbershop glass window and bleed profusely. This was supposed to culminate in a match between Michaels and Jannetty at WrestleMania 8. However, on January 25, 1992, a then 31-year-old Jannetty was arrested in Tampa, Florida following an altercation with the police. His 19-year-old female companion Angela Ialachi was arrested for trying to use a fake ID. Jannetty assaulted the officer performing the arrest, which led to his arrest. They were found to be in possession of less than a gram of cocaine. Jannetty was charged with possession of cocaine, possession of drug paraphernalia, and resisting arrest with force. Consequently, he was indefinitely suspended by the WWF. He was sentenced to 6 months of house arrest and was released by the WWF shortly thereafter. After his house arrest concluded, Jannetty re-signed with the WWF in October of 1992. He challenged Shawn Michaels for the Intercontinental Championship at the Royal Rumble and lost after interference from Sensational Sherry. They were supposed to have a rematch for the title at WrestleMania 9. However, Jannetty was released again by the WWF after rumors circulated that he was under the influence of drugs or alcohol in his match versus Michaels at the Rumble. With the urging of Curt Hennig, he convinced Vince McMahon to allow Jannetty to return to the WWF again in May of 1993, defeating Michaels for the Intercontinental Championship on Raw. He lost the belt to Michaels 3 weeks later at a house show, with Michaels ultimately being stripped of the title after testing positive for steroids and being suspended by the WWF. Jannetty began teaming with the 1-2-3 Kid in 1993, with them winning the Tag Team Championships on the January 10, 1994 episode of Monday Night Raw vs. the Quebecers. They would lose the titles a week later at a house show at Madison Square Garden. Leading up to WrestleMania 10, the Chuck Austin case was moving forward, resulting in Jannetty's sudden disappearance from the WWF and departure to ECW in 1995. Jannetty debuted in ECW in February of 1995, challenging Shane Douglas for the ECW World Heavyweight Championship. During his short time with the company, he had matches against Jim Neidhart, Eddie Guerrero, and the Sandman, before returning to the WWF later that year. Jannetty returned to the WWF in September of 1995 at the In Your House pay-per-view, losing to the debuting Goldust. He began teaming with Razor Ramon in a storyline against the $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase, Psycho Sid, and the 1-2-3 Kid. He began teaming with Al Snow in 1996 to form the New Rockers. After a year of disappointment teaming with Snow, Jannetty asked for his release from the WWF and returned to the independent circuit. He wrestled for WCW in 1998. However, his time in WCW was underwhelming at best, and he was released from his contract while recovering from a shoulder injury he sustained in a match versus Conan. After taking a several-year hiatus from wrestling in 2001, Jannetty returned to the WWE in March of 2005, teaming with Shawn Michaels in a match versus La Resistance. Jannetty had a new contract with the WWE, but was soon released from it in July of 2005 after being arrested and being unable to meet the commitments of his contract. On February 20, 2006, Jannetty once again returned to the WWE, but had to join Mr. McMahon's Kiss My Ass Club, but refused to do so. On March 3, 2006, WWE announced that it had severed all professional ties with Jannetty without further explanation. On September 15, 2006, Jannetty signed a new contract with the WWE to work as a veteran. However, by September 29, rumors were already circulating that he had been fired again. Jim Ross announced on December 24 that Jannetty had been released from his contract due to a court order in Florida preventing him from traveling on the road. Jannetty appeared on the 15th anniversary of Raw and lost to Mr. Kennedy. He made his final appearance in the WWE on October 19, 2009 on Raw, in a losing effort against The Miz. In 2011, Jannetty signed with Chikara, a Philadelphia-based wrestling promotion. He remained with the company until 2013. In July of 2016, Jannetty was named as part of a class action lawsuit against the WWE alleging that wrestlers incurred traumatic brain injuries during their tenure and that the company concealed the risks of injury. The case was dismissed in September of 2018. On August 5, 2020, Jannetty made a Facebook post in which he said he made a man disappear when he was 13 years old. Jannetty later clarified that he did not kill the man, but instead he hit him in the head with a brick after an attempted sexual assault and made him disappear. The following month, Jannetty said that his comments were part of a wrestling storyline, which he had to drop because of the police investigation. However, he retired from wrestling in 2018. Marty Jannetty is now 63 years old. He had a promising career, and was given numerous opportunities by the WWE to achieve success. However, in the end, his personal life was a train wreck, and he was his own worst enemy.